like to thank y'all for coming and your support in your child's endeavors academically, and your expectations of them academically. Now, having said that, some of your expectations are different, and some of you are here because you fully expected in August to be here tonight. And some of you are pleasantly surprised to be here. I understand that too. As a matter of fact, one of the parents in this room is so surprised to be here that he told me that, or she told me, this parent told me that his or her child making this is probably what's wrong with public education today. He's wrong, she's wrong, that person's wrong. All these students that are going to be honored tonight are very worthy students, and you'll see, and you'll hear some things about them, and we'll briefly let the scholars tell you what their plans are for next fall when they get up here. We'll start with Ms. Katie Bruchetta talking about student council, and then Jason Gullidge will talk about Beta Club, and then we'll introduce you to the students who achieved so well in the classroom. Ms. Bruchetta?
Good evening. At this time, I would like to give the officer awards for my executive board of the student council. The first award goes to Shaylin Brown. She was our council president this year. Next is Secretary Tegan Bartholomew. Treasurer Dane Piazza. I think Dane may be at a soccer game. Next is Ian Collins, and he's going to become our student council president next year. And our senior service officer is Haley Branham. And our junior service officer is Taryn Lester. And next year, Taryn will become our senior service officer. She moves up. Our communications officer has been Elena Smith for the past 2 years. Elena has taken care of submitting our newsletter and also keeping our website up to date. Sergeant at Arms is Belle Barnes. And Belle will move up next year and become our student council secretary. Our council communications this year has been Lauren Smith. Lauren has also been helping her sister do the website on our school website. Sophomore officer is Emily Campbell. And freshman officer is David Bruchetta. And this is the 2013-2014 Executive Board of the Student Council. One of the requirements to be in student council, in addition to having good behavior and high academic standing, is that you have to complete 40 service hours per year, 20 in the fall semester and then 20 in the spring semester. And this year I decided to make it a little bit of a competition, because I thought, well, if I make it a competition, then I won't have any problems with everybody getting hours. So I threw it out there to the kids at the beginning of the year, and they ran with it. They have done things, I've told them that They can work for their church. They can work for Special Olympics. They can work for FFA. They can work for FTA. They can work for Beta. They can do anything as long as they come and approve it with me, in addition to the regular council activities that we do. And this year, I would like to announce the top 15. And the top tier of them, when you hear their numbers, it equates to almost 5 hours per week of service to something, either their school or the community of Trenton. And I think that's a very important thing to teach children, is the idea of a leader is truly a servant. They're there to help, assist, and help people grow. So I would like to announce number 15 with 69 hours and 15 minutes is Rachel Schulze. Number 14 with 71 hours is Madison Warrington. In 13th place, David Bruchetta with 71 hours and 15 minutes. With number 12, with 72 hours, is Ian Collins. Number 11, with 75 hours and 45 minutes, is Kennedy Morris. Number 10, with 76 hours, is Karen Allen. Number 9, with 83 hours, Taryn Lester. In 8th place, with 83 hours and 45 minutes, is Malinsky Russell. In 7th place, with 87 hours and 45 minutes, is Sydney Phelan. In 6th place, with 103 hours and 30 minutes, Caitlin Bobbitt. And I'll tell you, for the top 5, they got really competitive. This last week, they were fighting for it. I've never seen a group of kids want to get hours so badly in my entire life. And I know that the community and our school community is very thankful, because I think they went to some teachers and said, we'll do anything, just give us some hours. 5th place with 106 hours and 15 minutes is Belle Barnes. In 4th place with 111 hours and 45 minutes, Emily Campbell. In 3rd place with 114 hours and 45 minutes, Tegan Bartholomew. In 2nd place with 120 hours and 15 minutes, Scott Michael Malone. And it was a close one. 1st place with 120 hours and 45 minutes, Shaylin Brown. Let's give these students a round of applause. And with all that said, The service hours become very important because we're part of an organization, the Tennessee Association of Student Councils, and we are part of the Southern Association of Student Councils, and that's where the hours really come in, because we work really hard when we go to convention to vie for awards. And we've been very lucky the past few years. This year, we actually got to come back with a first place in state in our t-shirt competition. Belle's Shirt and Sign really helped us design an awesome shirt. We were very proud of it. We came back with 3rd place in the state in scrapbook. We were the 4-star council for a 5th consecutive year. We received the platinum council for the 5th consecutive year. We were only one of 4 schools in the state. We were the only school in West Tennessee. We were also the only school that had less than a 1,700 student population. We have 450, 475. The other ones had over 1,700 students. They had councils of like 120, 150 kids. We have 40. So that's really amazing. We got 2nd in the Southern Regional competition in fundraising for our coffee house that we did. I was also elected to a 2nd-year term as the State Individual Awards Coordinator. And Member of the Year for TASC was Shaylin Brown. And Above and Beyond Award for the year at TASC Convention was Rachel Schulze. I hope that, thank you.
I'm Jason Gullidge. This year I got the privilege of being notified in August that I got to be one of the 4 Beta Club sponsors this year. Guy asked me last year if I would do it, and I'm like, I don't know, I need to think about it. And I thought that was all well and done, and then come in August, they said, oh, guess what, you are. And so I got told that I was in charge of convention. Now, they put a little snafu on us for this year because convention is the big thing that our Beta Club looks forward to each year. And it's traditionally been in the spring, so we've had plenty of time to plan for it. This year, that didn't. We were kind of rushed from August until November when they held it. They had swapped the positions. So what I want to do first is I'm going to recognize my 5 officers. The first one is President, which is Rachel Schulze. I have no. I've got Vice President, Ms. Elena Smith. I don't remember who was treasurer, to be honest with you. Robert. Okay, Robert Rayburn is treasurer. This is good there. I know the officers are, so I'm going to take all of their positions. Which means that would be Hannah Bridges is the secretary. Or Haley is secretary, and Hannah is the historian. I'm sorry. And so Hannah Bridges, I've got historian. And I'm going to be truly upset to lose these seniors this year, but hopefully next week I'm going to have my officer election and get a new crop of good ones. Now back to the convention. We did compete in almost every competition that they had available. We even had a candidate running for president this year, Miss Belle Barnes. And fortunately, we did have somebody place 2nd in the state. That would be Miss Tess Shelton. If she would come forward, I've got a medal for her as well for doing so well for us. Now, as far as everyone else, like I said, we had many competitions. So rather than read all those names, would you guys mind standing if you competed in one of these competitions that we had at the state? So that way you may be recognized as well. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm going to introduce the Peabody Scholars. It is an honor to be a Peabody Scholar. The formula that we use to calculate this is not shown. All right, so I'm just going to read the slide. Replacement for top 10 rankings that used only numerical averages. So before, we only looked at a student's GPA on the 4.0 scale and we ranked them. Now we combine the grade point average and ACT scores because, as you know, the ACT is an extremely important test. It's a determining factor in a lot of things, so we have combined these two scores to become a Peabody Scholar. The GPA is worth 1,000 possible points and the ACT is worth 1,000 possible points. The total of the two must meet or exceed 1,689 points. You can see the example above. So the 1,000 points is divided by a perfect GPA of 4.0 to give us 250 points. 1,000 points is divided by a perfect ACT score of 36, which gives us 27.777. So here's an example. A student who has a 3.8 GPA and an ACT of 28, plug it into the formula, you get 1,728 points. It is a feat to do this because ACT, as you guys know, is very difficult. So this is a really big honor if you become a Peabody Scholar. And our scholars are Tegan Bartholomew, Tyler Gerard, Brooke Gonzalez, Caleb Green, Dane Piazza, Robert Rayburn, David Rodemaker, Rachel Schulze, Elena Smith, and JT Vernon. Let's give another round of applause for all of our Peabody Scholars.
Coach Jacobs is Teacher of the Year at Peabody this year, and he's going to recognize the Tennessee Honor graduates. Tennessee Honor graduate is not something that's done at individual schools. It's a state honor in every school in the state of Tennessee. And the state of Tennessee defines an honor graduate as any student who has met or exceeded all 4 ACT benchmarks. If they make an 18 or above on the English part of the ACT, if they make a 22 on the reading, a 22 on the math, a 23 on the science. What that means is this: if they do that or better, they have a 50-50 shot of making a B or better in a college class. So we have several of those this year. At this time, if Coach Jacobs would come forward to introduce you to those.
Will Chamberlain, Tyler Gerard, Brooke Gonzalez, Caleb Green, Logan P. Morris. Logan W. Morris. Dane Piazza. Robert Rayburn. David Rodemaker. Rachel Schulze. Elena Smith. James T. Vernon. Caleb Warrington. Shane Wofford.
We'll now introduce the freshman honor students. You can see the freshman faculty sponsors there. Coach Bradley Roberts will do the speaking.
Our first one is Benjamin Allen. Nathan Altry. Tyson Bartholomew. David Burketta. Cassidy Cloyd. Casey Collins. Alex Criswell. Alexis Duncan. Preston Fessmeyer. Billy Gibson. Zachary Gerard. Jacob Green. Dylan Jordan. Sarah Lane. Haley Lester. Ashley Manus. Matthew McKay. Paige Newman. Joy Norval. Will Pickard. Sterling Proctor. Henry Putman. Emma Rice. Kaylee Summers. Jacob Taylor. Jacob Tilley. Marbell Vega. Brooke Webb. Colin White. Laurel White. Carrie Willis. And Mary Wilson.
Now they're getting off the stage, Mr. Westbrook's getting the sophomores up. That's a very large group of freshman honor students. It's a very impressive group. I also need to explain, we used to bring them up here in two groups, the academic letterman one time and then the honor students after that. So we're bringing all the groups in here with one big group so they only have to come once. But there's an asterisk by their name if they're a letterman. The difference between a letterman and someone who's not a letterman is the letterman make the gold honor roll in both of the trimesters leading up to this program tonight, all A's. If you're not an academic letterman, yet you are an honor student, you are allowed to make like 2 B's, 3 A's and 2 B's in each trimester. We have 5 classes in each trimester. So again, silver honor roll is 3 A's and 2 B's or 4 A's and 1 B. And then the lettermen are people that make 5 A's in every trimester in which they take a class. Mr. Westbrook? I, in the past, usually read the music that's about to be presented to you, and it should become self-evident why I don't do that anymore. I'm 54 years old. That's an excellent piece. The ballet of the unhatched chicks plumb evades me. That was very good though. And then the author, or the composer there is, say that, Mr. Wood. Of course he is, that's right. He's from Trenton. That was very good, ladies. Excellent. Sophomores, the sponsors are coming up. And Miss Christy Allen will do the speaking. Students, make sure sophomores, you saw the freshmen, come by here and get your certificate and/or pen on your way. Thank you.
Good evening. Sophomores, Karen Allen. Rico Buchanan. Caitlin Duncan. We're going to get this right eventually. Caitlin Bobbitt. They want me to read across instead of down. Kayla Bowie. Emily Campbell. Mason Denton. Trey Ferguson. Dylan Grooms. Bailey Holmes. Scott Malone. Kimberly McCall. Preston Peavyhouse. Daniel Permenter. Sydney Phelan. Drew Powell. And Lauren Smith. Good job, sophomores.
Junior sponsors are on the board. Miss Katie Bruchetta will do the speaking.
Well, I'm so used to freshmen, this is a new experience. I've had the privilege of having the juniors 2 years at Peabody, so I moved up to English 3 this year. And I think that the juniors would agree with me when I've said that to them all year that the junior year is the hardest year. I think you would agree with me, am I correct? Yes. Some nodding. These kids have some of them have 4 end-of-course tests that they will take. They've taken a TCAP writing assessment, and on top of that, they've been given the ACT and a pilot park test. So for them to make the honors banquet, to me, is a very huge honor. Brant Allen. Belle Barnes. Kayla Bland. Mackenzie Braden. Lucas Brooks. Remington Birch. Ian Collins. Dallas Irvin. Molly Green. Mary Grace Hayes. Hillary Johnson. Angela Letienne. Taryn Lester. Hunter Porter. Julia Proctor. Brandon Robinson. Tess Shelton. Kyle Summers. I can't tell you how proud I am of these kids. So let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
Senior sponsors are posted. Miss Patricia Brown will introduce the students.
I know that being a senior parent, you have a lot of bittersweet moments to go through. This may be one of those. For some of you, this may be the last honors program that you attend, but I know you're all really proud of what your seniors have accomplished and that they're here tonight. So our senior honor students are Sarah Barcenas, Tegan Bartholomew, Braxton Bogus, Haley Bennett, Haley Branham, Hannah Bridges, Shaylin Brown, Bethany Cobb, Sarah Kate Coday, Chelsea Cox, Tiana Crowley, Cass Crenshaw, Chandra Cunningham, Savannah Edge, Tyler Gerard, Brooke Gonzalez, Caleb Green, Caleb Jackson, Ross Johnson, Charisma Johnson, Terry Joyce, Destiny Lawrence, Jamisha Mann, Logan P. Morris, Logan W. Morris, Alexandria Nesbitt, Hunter Partee, Dane Piazza, Paul Ramirez, Robert Rayburn, David Rodemaker, Rachel Schulze, Elena Smith, Jan Smith, Katrina Spurl. Tiana Wade. JT Vernon. Kaylee Wilkes. And Shane Wofford. Give a hand to your senior honor graduates.
Thank y'all. Before I do my final announcements, it's someone else's last honors program also, last prom, and last graduation. Miss Patricia, last year we had to say goodbye to Miss Andrea Joyner and a few, and now this is another quarter of our English department. So in the last 2 years, half of our English department has retired. But Miss Patricia Brown is hanging it up after this year. Would you like to say goodbye or say anything at all?
I just want to say, this senior class, when I told them that I was retiring, they said, that's great, Ms. Brown, go out with us, we're the best. So I'm gonna go out with this senior class. They really are great, and I really have enjoyed them this year. I got to teach them last year, and then I moved to seniors this year, so I've gotten to teach a lot of them this year, the ones that weren't over at Dyersburg State. But I really have enjoyed it, and it's been great. I couldn't have asked to work at a better place, and I've loved the kids, and I've loved all my years here, but it's time for me to move on and go play with my grandkids. So I've had a great time though. Thank you.
There are so many things that go into a high school, being a good high school. Academics are certainly paramount. Of course, that's our mission. That's why we're here. But Miss Brown does the yearbook. That's a huge undertaking, and she's been solely responsible for that, doing that with 4 or 5 annual staff students every year. Just her and those 5 or 6 or however many they get that year. Just a huge undertaking on top of teaching her academic load. So she's going to be greatly missed, and we're hustling to find someone to do that yearbook for us and teach those classes. Prom's tomorrow night. Those are activities below that in which our band will be performing next week during Teapot. Try to make some of those if you can, and then of course the parade is Saturday. In closing, I'd like to thank Ricky Hooker, Nicole Sudbury, Shell Jordan, Terry Joyner, and my faculty for helping with everything that they do in the day-to-day operations of the school and in preparing for something like this. I'd like to thank you and your children for being the cream of the crop at what is a pretty good darn high school. Thanks for coming tonight. We are through. Thank y'all.